Hello, my name is Jeremy Patrich, and welcome to your Cultural and Human Geography course. I'm really excited to welcome you into this course because this is a very unique course. I guess all of them are a little unique in their own way, but this is a fun course in the sense that human and cultural geography deals with the aspects that make us human, and the things that we love and that we may not like as much, and the things that we do that create an investment in our landscape, for not just for us, but for the future generations to find. So the purpose of this video is to introduce briefly this course as a whole. It's also going to introduce kind of the tone, the thematics, and just kind of how I operate and what my expectations are while you're taking this course. And then the last part of this video is just, it's imperative because I'm going to talk about your term paper and kind of what my expectations are with that. So that being said, join me in a very quick but thorough introduction to your human and cultural geography course. So as the course description essentially states, this course is an introduction to humans and culture. So what does that mean? Well, to me, and for this course, there are a lot of things that define us as having a culture, but I think that what I like most about the design of this course is that it really focuses on those identifying factors. So sure, we're going to be able to talk a little bit about cultural practices, agriculture, even linguistics and language and the way that we speak, but we'll also be able to speak more about politics, even looking at gender of geography, urban geography, economic geography. We're going to look at religion. A lot of those topics that can often become uncomfortable when speaking with family, maybe at a holiday gathering or even on a first date. They always say, oh, don't talk about some of these things. Well, we're going to talk about them because we're going to inquire. We're going to be looking at it through a lens of understanding and respect and to learn more. So we will have an opportunity to talk more about pronouns and an opportunity to talk about politics and crime and really linguistics. Linguistics is not just language. It's a majority of us speak English in this course. Many of us, this is maybe your first or your second or third language, but even the English that you speak and that you write may have a different variation than others. Maybe that be an accent. Maybe it be some of the terms that you use. And so we'll get to learn a little bit about that. We'll talk about other things that I find very exciting that deal with culture, being music, film, sports. These are all things that have existed since really the beginning of human characteristics. And we sometimes don't think about that being such a defining attribute of culture is music, or the clothing or the branding that you wear, or the entertainment that you like to pursue, whether it be concerts or music, or even looking at theater and things like that. And so these are really some exciting attributes. So within all of these topics, I have them kind of separated within modules, and each module will have a couple things for you to look at and for you to review. So I'm just tinkering, I'm looking at the Canvas module to kind of speak quickly to it. But the way that it'll work out is that you'll certainly have an overview of what that topic is. Then you're going to have some reading. The best part about the reading of this course is it's free. So Dr. Steve Graves from Cal State Northridge put together a free open education resource textbook, one that we're going to use. A couple things that I like about it, obviously being free is a main one, but the other thing is that Steve writes this book through the lens of California, which is exciting because California has such a diverse background of people. We associate it as being a melting pot, and so we really get to see a lot of that within the textbook and how we can look at our home and relate that to really the perspective of our globe and looking at cultures and influence and social media and things like that. Then you'll also have maybe one or two short videos, lectures that are required to watch that may go with, go through the context. There'll even be some resources, some PDF versions of shortened PowerPoints or lectures, or just really concepts that will really help you kind of seam the text with my video and that together for your notes. After you complete that and watching our videos, you'll also have a module quiz. A module quiz will generally have 5 questions. You only get 1 attempt, and these questions can come anywhere from the lectures. They can come from the PowerPoint, they can come from the video, the reading. So make sure you complete all those things first. Then you'll have 2 more things for each module. You have a discussion board, and then you'll have a module assignment. The discussion board is really your modular opportunity for extra credit. So you will have a main post that you'll respond to and create by Fridays, and then you'll have your peer responses to that will be due 2 days on that Sunday. And if you do additional responses, you can earn some extra credit on every single discussion board. The point of that is to create a discussion, as if we were in class and you looked over to someone and said, oh, I want to know more about your favorite type of music. Maybe that's the discussion topic. We have one of those where you have to pick a playlist, and you can share that with that as in a conversation. That's what discussions are. They're conversations. So I try to create the topics to be of which, so you can do that. And then the module assignment is a 500-word written response that kind of summarizes the topics and the bigger picture, and that will be run through turnitin.com, so make sure that you do follow the rubrics and the citations and whatnot for that. The module assignments, those written responses, are weighed very heavily. That's a bulk of this course, really, if you think about it, because I want to assess your understanding of the topic. I feel it's easier and more appropriate for me to assess that type of assignment versus an exam. You will have an exam in this course. Depending on the length of the semester, it could be a midterm final or just a cumulative final, which is low stakes, meaning that it's worth a chunk, but not the bulk of the course, because I feel it's easier for me to assess you using other smaller assignments to prove understanding, to prove comprehension, and to just prove those aspects. So you'll have a majority of these things throughout the entire course, but the main thing that I wanted to mention now as our last aspect is your term paper. So this course will have a term paper. Don't get nervous about that. It's not like a normal term paper, I guess, in a sense, but it has the same rubric and the same understanding. So what I would like for you to think about as you're working through this course is what is your cultural geography? What is your identity? And that's what this term paper is. This term paper for this class is really about your personal story, your places of meaning, your background, and things like that. So I would like for you to continue to think about what defines you, and in that aspect, what are you leaving behind as a definition? So the first part of this paper will be your story. Discuss who you are, where you came from, where you're going, the things that may have influenced your life. So things like this could be, talking about where you were born, where you were raised. Did you have what type of family were you raised in? Was it a culturally or language influenced? Was it what type of diversity did you deal with? What pivotal things influenced who you are? Meaning that maybe divorce in your family, or maybe a death in the family, or maybe something that was really exciting and great that inspired your family, or maybe it could be things such as sexuality or personal preference or things like that. Did coming out change the trajectory of your life of where you are today in one way or another? So this is really about that, is when you're free to sit back and reflect, and as you're working through these modules, thinking, well, wait a minute, I'll use music as an example again. Does the music that I listen to influence or resonate with my identity or who I am, or the legacy that I want to leave behind? So that's what this first part's about, and there's a little more specifics to it, but you really think about your personal story. What inspires you? What brought you to college? What brought you to where you are today? Since I began teaching this course, we've obviously gone through a global pandemic. How has that changed the trajectory of your life? How has that inspired you? How does that moved you to do something different. Maybe that's inspired you to do a new career, or to look into new research, or new this or new that. What are these pivotal moments in our life? Then the remaining part of the paper is really unique. I sell it in a sense of, imagine you're on a first date and you're meeting someone new, and they ask, so tell me a little bit about yourself. And you're like, no, I can't. I must not. Instead, I would like to take you to these 3 locations that I feel really define who I am. So the rubric says for you to pick these locations, 3 of them. Why is this place significant? Provide some personal background. As an example, maybe for me, it could be Disneyland. Disneyland's a very important piece of my cultural identity. So I could talk about the history of Disneyland, but then also to include, why is it important to me? What are those aspects of Disney that inspire me, or that I find rewarding or welcoming, or what part of Disney nourishes my soul in that sense. Then to include additional research on where is it located, the historical background, the significance maybe for other people, not just yourself. And then these are just some things to think about. Then you can include maps, you can include photos, and you can really have a lot of fun with this. Because, or maybe it's a restaurant, as another example. Maybe there's a family restaurant that you and your family have gone to all the time. Maybe that information is not readily available. So maybe you should go to the restaurant and say, hey, can I ask a couple questions? When was this restaurant founded? And who are the owners? And what is their story? And because who knows, maybe the story of that restaurant really can be impactful to you, because maybe it's not just how good the food is. Maybe there's something about that place, the people that work there, the culture that resonates within that building. It can help you within that. So this is your term paper. Exciting, right? So it's really about reflecting on yourself, kind of that soul searching, and to what you are, and maybe where you're going, and what you're leaving behind, and when I say what you're leaving behind, not in some dark tone, but the relationships that we have in our life with people we work with, and maybe your families, and maybe you have kids and things like that. What part of you are you leaving with them? What things? And that's part of your cultural identity. That's part of your cultural geography, is that, what you're leaving with them as a memory. And so, how does this inspire within the world of cultural geography and the physical landscape that we live in and will leave behind? So the purpose of this course, again, is to learn more about the people around us, to become understanding, to be to wonder, and to learn how to ask the right questions, because there are lots of right answers to the questions in the world that we live in. There's not just always going to be one answer, especially when looking at things like religion and things like politics and everything in between those two. And so this course really allows you to learn from one another. So I'm really looking forward to that opportunity for you to feel comfortable to be able to share more about you, and to also be comfortable asking questions, to wonder, not to for a judgment, but to understand, right? And to learn, and to value that, because the more that we understand ourselves and the people around us, the more that we can appreciate, the more that we can respect, and the better humans we will be. And that's really the key to this course. So again, I'm really looking forward to working with you this semester. If you have any questions, never hesitate to comment on my videos, send me an email, come to an office hour, just reach out. I'm here for you. I know this is an online course, but that doesn't mean that I'm not readily available for a Zoom or a Meet or whatever it might be. So take advantage of that. Be comfortable to ask questions. Use the resources in Canvas, whether it be chat rooms, discussion boards, things like that. And just know that I am really excited to get to know you more, and I'm really excited to share my cultural identity and my background, and how all of these attributes of this course define who I am, and hopefully that will inspire you to recognize and to acknowledge the same for yourself. That being said, let's get going, and we'll talk soon.